Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, just got finished with a 3-hour, you heard me right, 3-hour watching session. So, let me start this video off with trigger warning. This is going to be a Scientology video, so if you find that content triggering, click off this video, go to another video. This is not going to be the episode for you, especially not this video, because I find myself highly agitated, and by highly agitated I mean royally pissed off right now. Okay, so it took me 3 hours to get through this episode, and by this episode I mean season 3 episode 7 of Leah, Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath. This is covering the Gilman Springs Road, better known as Gold Base, better known as the international headquarters of Scientology. Okay, so I'm mad. I'm mad and I'm tired and I'm supposed to be going to bed because I've got to go to work tonight. But I'm going to film this. I have 5 pages. No, scratch that. I have 30 pages of content on this episode. It took me 3 hours to go through this because this is some serious bullshit. Okay, so the international headquarters of Scientology is located at a compound in Riverside, California. It is named Golden Era Productions, aka Gold Base. For Scientology, the Gold Base represents the peak of Scientology and the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard, and you can kiss my behind with that. Per Monique Yingling, the Scientology attorney, and this was from her appearance on Nightline, if you talk to the staff, they'll tell you it's a worker's paradise. It couldn't be a better place to work. Now, remember that she said that because that's going to be kind of mirrored in something that they say later on, and that directly correlates with something that they are taught. Okay, so remember that Monica Yingling says that, or Monique Yingling, or whatever the hell her name is. She's irrelevant. She is a mouthpiece for the machine. Then they go into her promotional video where they're talking about how great it is, and it's a distraction-free workplace, and it's a great environment, it's perfect to work there, because everything is right there and they never have to leave. Why would you want to be there if you never have to leave? Like, everything you want's right there and you never have to leave. That would drive me nuts. I don't want to always be at my workplace. It feels like I'm always at my workplace, but that aside. Now, former Scientologists have a different view on this. So we're going to fast forward to April 1st, 2010. Ignore my hair. It's a little crazy. Ignore my face. It's a little crazy. Ignore me right now because I'm a little crazy. 4/1 of 2010. So Anderson Cooper, on his show 360, did an investigation into the abuse allegations into the Church of Scientology, and Anderson Cooper stated that there were several high-ranking officials making allegations against David Miscavige. Now, the 4 that were shown in that clip were Jeff Hawkins, a Sea Org member of 37 years who left in 2005, was personally beat up 5 separate times by David Miscavige. Amy Scobie, a Sea Org member of 25 years, left in 2005. What did I write? Oh, she tells of the rage of David. I can't even read my own handwriting at this point. Clara Headley, a Sea Org member of 14 years, left in 2005, was scared to blink the wrong way. Mark Headley, a Sea Org member of 16 years, left in 2005, advised that that they are watching every move of every person on the property so that no one could get out. Really? No one could get out. Why are you watching everybody's moves? I mean, is this a religion or is it a freaking prison? Okay. if I do commentary on every stupid thing in this, we're going to be here for hours. Anyway, Gold Base is presented as a paradise on earth, the pinnacle of the technology of Scientology. Scientology challenges the credibility of the contributors appearing in the program and their statements. So that you know, Scientology doesn't agree with the shit that they say. And Scientology has yet to agree to participate in the program 3 years running. Okay, so that we have that out of the way. Also, I'm going to be delving into, I'm probably going to make an entire video on going onto the A&E website and delving into the stuff that Scientology has submitted as their like response to shit on the show. So that's going to be forthcoming. I will leave the link to that in the description box when I post this video, but look forward to that in a future video, because there's just way too much in every episode for me to include that in each and every episode, because if I do that, we're going to be here for like ever, and I just literally just poked myself in the eye. Okay, so let's go back in time. It's going to be in 1978. L. Ron Hubbard shot a movie at the golf course at where Golden Era Productions is now. At that time, it was called the Gilman Springs Golf Resorts. So where Golden Era Productions is at this time was once a golf resort. So he loved the property so much he decided to buy it, and that's where Gold Base was built. He never actually lived on the property, but he did have a small house on the property. So now they start flashing up these newspaper articles. So the St. Petersburg Times, December 5th, 1982, the disappearance of L. Ron Hubbard. Los Angeles Times, December 31st, 1982, trial order to determine is L. Ron Hubbard alive. Los Angeles Times, March 12th, 1985. No one really knows how to find the 74-year-old Hubbard. I've never met Mr. Hubbard, and I've been with the church for 18 years. We didn't know how to get in touch with him, says Reverend Hubbard C., and I do not know how to say this last name. I'm not even going to try to say it, but he was the church president at the time. Okay, so let me stop there for a second. I'll be right back. Okay guys, sorry, allergies are really messing with me right now. So even though Hubbard never lived nor visited Gold Base, security measures were put into place just in case he ever did. So that's the reason why the fence was put up, the guard gate was put in place. These are the kind of examples of the security measures needed for L. Ron Hubbard's safety or whatever. Public Scientologists are not allowed to know the exact location of the international base of Scientology, even though it's the international base of Scientology. The base of Scientology. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So, L. Ron Hubbard's declared dead. David Miscavige takes over. 1987, David Miscavige moves to Gold Base and took over the leadership role of Scientology. Now, let's get into some security measures. Let's kick this insanity up a notch. One, they do what's called renovations on Saturdays. They install 2 to 3 inch ultra barriers, which are the razor barriers on the fence, both on the inside of the fence and the outside of the fence, so that if you try to climb over the fence to get out or to get in, you're ripped to shreds. They put microphones in the ground outside of the property. They put motion sensors on the fence, floodlights along the fence. There's a security force that could be dispatched at any moment, and they would drill that response time to make it faster. They have security rover bikes and an SUV that can drive all of the roads. Now, going back to the 4 people we talked about earlier, Mark Headley stated, if you do escape over the fence, they are going to know the instant it happens. Now, that's a direct quote from him. If you get out of there, there's nowhere to go. It is at least a 4 to 5 mile walk to anywhere. Okay, there is no access to phones. All incoming and outgoing mail is opened and read. If your family members send you a phone, it is confiscated. There is no direct access to the outside line unless you call a receptionist and tell them, hey, I need to call this number. Then you give the receptionist the phone number, she dials it for you, and then patches you through to the line. So it's not like you can pick up a phone and go, oh, I'm going to call 911. No, you have to call the receptionist and go, yes, I would like to call 911. That's not going to happen. They have a thing called the Perimeter Council. The Perimeter Council discusses the well-being and control of staff. And this group meets weekly, and they had a list called the Threat List. And this is the people who were seen to be as close to being declared subversive as possible. And most of the time they were on that list because they disagreed with David Miscavige. These people were to be watched and threatened. It's a good foundation for religion right there. Okay, so say you did get away and you were caught trying to escape. You got put on what was called decks. This could be digging ditches, building block walls, pouring concrete, pretty much anything labor intensive. And that was to break your will to escape. Sounds more like prison to me than a religion, but we're going to keep going on. So Tommy Davis, who is kind of like a spokesperson for Scientology, in response to the Tampa Bay Times from October 15th of 2009, says, all allegations of bars being installed to hold people against their will is false and malicious and is denied. The church does not violate any laws in exercising ecclesiastical discipline or anything else. Ecclesiastical discipline. What the fuck is that? Okay. He also stated that the security system at Golden Era Productions exists to protect the property and is in no more or less sophisticated than the system of any similar film studio in the Southern California area. Any allegations to the contrary are false. So you're trying to say that the Golden Era Productions security system is that of, say, like MGM? I don't think so, buddy. And that's in the same article as well. A letter from Scientology dated 11/2/16 states that Scobie, and that's going to be in reference to Amy Scobie, fabricated stories are easily, Scobie's fabricated stories, sorry, I told you I can't read today. Scobie's fabricated stories are easily predictable. That's because she has been covering up her own transgressions while spreading the same discredited myths and smears for nearly 8 years. So at this point, Scientology has gone on the offense. They're just trying to smear everybody's names to detract from their own issues. But I digress. Also, from a letter from Scientology dated 10/12/16, you should know the truth about Mark and Claire Headley. They are part of a small group of obsessed individuals who make a living attacking their former religion, their last scheme being the Remini reality TV show. Moving on. Now we're going to go into blow drills. So the definition for blow drills are the steps to be taken to find and retrieve a Sea Org member who has escaped. Who has escaped. Not left, escaped. Again, sounds very much like a prison, not a religion. Moving on. So we're going to talk about a person named Maureen Ballstad. She was a former Sea Org member. she did a press conference 2/12/10, and this is what I'm talking about right here. It's from that press conference. She said that she ran away on a few occasions and she was tackled and brought back physically. She advised one of the men who tackled her was a man named Chris Geider, and he was an ex-professional Australian football player. Okay, he was a professional football player. Do you think a woman has any chance of fighting off a professional football player? I don't care what country he's from. Do you think she has any chance? Plus, he has practice in tackling grown men. So do you think that she has any chance of getting out of that tackle without some form of a physical injury? Okay. So let's talk about these blow drills. What encompasses a blow drill? So Mark Headley gives us an idea. He said that there are crews on Gold Base. It's approximately about 50 people, and they're assigned tasks. And these are some of these tasks. Go to the nearest bus station. Go to the nearest airport. Call taxi companies to see if a taxi was called in the vicinity of Gold Base. Go to the nearest hotels and the nearest hospitals. If the person has a cell phone, log into that cell phone account and see who they've been talking to. Have a person go to their nearest family member or to all of their family members and watch the house. Wait for the person to show up. If the person does show up, have someone that's close to them, or if they have family members in Scientology, have their family members attempt to talk them back in. Again, cult-like behavior, not religious-like behavior. Now, Marty Rathburn, in an interview that he did, Marty Rathburn was a former senior inspector general. In an interview that he did, he advised that David came to him every morning asking if there had been any blows throughout the night. Meaning, had anybody ran off in the middle of the night? Render advised that Miscavige was paranoid about people leaving the property because Gold Base was where he terrorized people. And he did not want that getting out. I can see why. Because we're fixing to move on. Now, here's another quote from Tommy Davis in response to the Tampa Bay Times on 10/15/09. Any claims that Mr. Miscavige ran a blow drill, forcibly kept staff from leaving the international base, chased them down in any way, any acts of violence, is categorically denied. Oh, I'm sure it is. Here's a direct quote from Mark Headley. If you want to leave and you really genuinely are like, I'm gonna leave, you basically have to be willing to be a bum on the street because you have no education, you have no credit, you have no money, you have no resources to do anything. So when you drive off the property or when you run, jump over the gate, you basically say, I'm going to try to make it from starting with nothing and no one to help me. Amy Scobie stated that while she was living there, while you were living on the base, you kind of got used to the security. You kind of just like blocked it out. You never really paid attention to it. But then when you leave, you kind of look back and you're like, man, that was crazy. And she said that anytime you wanted to go anywhere, you had to fill out this form. And it was called a completed staff work. And it was kind of like a petition to go anywhere. And you had to submit it to your supervisors and everybody had to sign off on it. And if you like filled out something wrong, it was basically denied. And then if it was approved, you had to take like a buddy with you. And that buddy had to go everywhere with you. She was like, one time a family member was sick. And she wanted to go to the hospital to see that buddy. But it was like, that was denied. And she was like, it really discouraged you from doing anything. And she was like, it makes you feel like it's not really worth doing it. The only time you really put the effort in was unless it was going to be bad public relations for Scientology if you did not go. So then Jeff Hawkins speaks up. And he said it advised that it took him 5 to 7 days one time to get approved to go to his own mother's memorial service. And he said every step of the way, they kept asking him, she's already dead. Why do you need to go? I mean, that's just heartless. Like, I mean, it's like, this is supposed to be a religion. Like, you're supposed to be going and paying your respects. I mean, in my other series, Scientology, from a Scientologist perspective, they talk about the funeral services, and you're supposed to be like paying your respects and celebrating the life. That's what he was trying to go do. You have a whole funeral service built into your religion. He was trying to go pay the respects to his mother and like celebrate her life, and you're asking him, she's already dead, why do you need to go? Because he needs to go. Why do you need to know? They said with each escape from the Golden Era Productions, they changed their way they did business. The more people escaped, the tighter the security measures. And they gave the example, like Claire Headley went to Lens Crafters to get her glasses. She went to Lens Crafters, and what she had did was she went in there to get her eyes examined or whatever, and she had called for a taxi to wait at the back door, and she went out the back door, got in the taxi, and blew. So the next person to go to Lens Crafters had to take a buddy, and through the entire eye exam, that buddy had to be like right there next to him. So it's like every person that found a way out for the next person, that security measure was that much higher. So now, remember earlier, let's go back to Monique Yingling's quote. If you talk to the staff, they'll tell you it's a worker's paradise. It couldn't be a better place to work. So, the question was raised. When you're on Gold Base, do you have to go through any classes just in case, say, the government shows up or something? Everybody that's on Gold Base has to go through the International Base Security and PR course. And as soon as they get to Gold Base, they have to go through this course. And it is a course so that they can deal with the authorities if they get on base. It teaches you how to lie to the authorities. Volunteer no information that is beyond what you are asked for, answer in generalities, and you work in a paradise and you're wonderfully happy. That is the beginning and the end of the story. Sound familiar? Claire Headley said that she worked for 8 years in the Religious Technology Center, which was Miscavige's top organization, and pretty much what it was like the police. And they carried out his orders. And she said she attended hundreds, if not thousands, of meetings with Miscavige and witnessed thousands of incidents in which Miscavige physically abused staff members. She said it was like he wanted everyone to know what was coming in their future if they didn't get in line. Amy Scobie said that she witnessed approximately 15 physical assaults. Jeff Hawkins advised that he was at Gold Base for 15 years and was personally abused by Miscavige 5 or 6 different times. So, here we go from another letter from Scientology, dated 10/24/16. Lying is nothing new for Hawkins, who has been a discredited anti-Scientology media source for years. He's fabricated stories about having been a victim of violence as a staff member were debunked more than a decade ago. Mark Headley advised that the hole is located in the conference room, and that is where he always witnessed beatings. All the people that were given beatings by Miscavige were the top execs. He said he never saw lower staff members getting beatings. It was always like the top execs. And the top execs are always like the faces of Scientology. It's always the people that are like in the limelight. They're the ones giving the interviews. They're the ones in the promotional information packages, all that stuff. They're the public faces of Scientology. They're the ones in the publicity. So it doesn't really make much sense. It's kind of hard to understand. So we have a quote from an affidavit from a Gilliam Lesver. And excuse me if I mispronounce names, not very good at that. This is dated 7/28 of 09. It says, I have never experienced, seen, or witnessed Mr. David Miscavige in any act of violence of any kind towards myself or anyone else. Anyone alleging anything else is lying. Well, Claire Headley says that she witnessed physical violence toward Gilliam by Miscavige on several occasions. But Gilliam is still also at Gold Base right now. And he's also taken that PR course. So you gotta think. He's been told to lie to the authorities, and that, number one, above all else, doesn't matter what it is, cover the religion. So Mark, Yeager, and Gilliam. Mark Headley witnessed Miscavige squeeze these two men's heads together with such force that both men's ears were bleeding when Miscavige let them go. Now, an affidavit from Gilliam again, same date as before. The allegation that Mr. Miscavige smashed together my head and Mr. Mark Yeager's head in 03 is absolutely false. This alleged incident never occurred. Sounds like somebody is just like really pounding that this never happened. Really hard. Claire Headley advised that the first incident that she ever saw of abuse happened in a parking lot of Sandal Castle Religious Retreat in Clearwater, March of 1996. She said that David Miscavige attacked Ray Mithoff. She said that he punched and shoved him and created what, direct quote, culture of fear. And this was also witnessed by Amy Scobie. So then we have another affidavit by Ray Mithoff, whatever, dated 7/28 of 09. Now, if you notice, 7/28 of 09, we have a whole lot of affidavits from everybody. In the 28 years that I have known Mr. David Miscavige, he has never injured, assaulted, punched, kicked, choked me, nor has he ever grabbed me by the neck, thrown me to the floor, tackled me across furniture at any time, or otherwise caused any sort of physical or mental harm. Norman Starkey. Claire Headley has witnessed physical abuse multiple times to this man. So we have an affidavit from Norman Starkey, the same date. The allegation made by Claire Headley about supposed incidences of physical violence against me by Mr. Miscavige is complete lie. These incidences never happened. Claire Headley advised every meeting with Miscavige and Starkey also had physical abuse. Jeff Hawkins. He attacked me, punched me, shoved me many other times. Witnessed by Claire, Amy, Mark, Mike, and others that are still at Gold Base. People at Gold Base believe what is good for Miscavige is good for the earth. So they continue to cover for him. Mike said that while he was in the hole, they even had a competition on who could write the best essay on how good of a person David Miscavige was, because they believed whoever won that competition would get out of the hole. And Here's the kicker. This is the thing that'll piss you off the most. The FBI has been given the information on where these files are kept, where the hole is located, the entire layout of the base, where they need to know to find the information to take all of Scientology down. And they've done nothing. They have sat on it. They have not done the first raid. They haven't done the first nothing. Render said that from time to time, Miscavige will pick somebody out of the hole, clean them up real good, and parade them out in front of the camera so that they can just expound on how great Miscavige is and how great Scientology is, and everything that they're hearing is all bullshit and they shouldn't believe it. Well, here's what I want to know, Miscavige. Where the fuck is Shelly? Because you know what? Nobody has yet to see Shelly yet. You can pull all these other people out of the hole, but you haven't fucking found Shelly yet. Scientology denies the existence of the hole. Well, I'm sure they do, because that's highly illegal. And we're going to get to even more evidence of why that's illegal, which will really make you mad here in a minute. We have another letter from the attorney of Scientology, which this is a real gem. Substantial evidence against suggestions that Mike Render, recognizing it as more lucrative financially to lie, has adapted the same playbook he once decried, selling false stories about Scientology as his only source of income. His only evidence is self-corroboration by similarly paid sources. How about you kiss my butt? Because you know what? You have a whole bunch of people saying the same stuff over and over and over again, not only on this show, but on other shows. And something tells me they're all telling me the truth. But anyway, in 2009, the media turned its attention to Scientology as a mass of former members began speaking out publicly against the church. The St. Petersburg Times, 6/21 of 2009. Here's another Monique Yingling Scientology attorney quote. It's not a question of they have a version and we have a version. It's that it's never happened. That's when the whole rollout of the truth rundown came out, when everybody started coming out about all these abuses and everything. Tommy Davis then got on CNN and said, oh yeah, there's violent behavior, but it was Mike Render and Marty Rathburn. It wasn't David Miscavige. So Monique Yingling said, it never happened. There was no abuse. Well then, Tommy Davis gets on and goes, oh, there was abuse, but it was these two that did it, and they're gone, so there's no abuse now. Then they roll out all the ex-wives. I know every inch of his body, and he never had a bruise on him. He never complained about anything, and blah, 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 blah. What's funny to me that you roll out all the ex-wives and they have the same exact thing saying over and over and over again. Yeah, okay. So now we have another affidavit, but this one's interesting. So this is an affidavit from a Vicky Asnaran, dated April 4th of 94. Okay, so this is like way back. Miscavige has struck staff members when they do things he dislikes. Miscavige has also set up photos of staff members who have fallen into disregard and uses them as target practice for pistol shooting. You know, that sounds very familiar to some other things that we have heard about David Miscavige. And those are things that we've just heard in the recent years. This dates back to 94. A declaration from David Miscavige, February of 94. Vicky Asnaran, on the other hand, was removed from her position as President and Inspector General of RTC. She herself has testified for the reasons of her removal. Okay, so now I'm fixing to do just kind of a rundown of some names and positions, okay? Give me 1 second, guys. Man, these allergies are killing me. So I'm fixing to go through some names and positions, and then I'm going to tell you how this all ties in together, okay? So, Marty Rathburn, former Senior Inspector General. Steve Hall, former Gold Base employee. Mark Fisher, David Miscavige's former assistant, who left in 1990. Chris Gilder, something, former Scientology executive, left in 06. Don Lastner, former Sea Org executive, left in 83. Karen Presley, former Scientology executive at Gold Base, left in 03. Larry Brenner, former Scientology executive, left in 01. Dan Kuhn, former Scientology executive, left in 01. Bruce Hines, former Sea Org executive, left in 03. That long list of people have all given testimony on camera of abuses that they have witnessed with their own eyes of David Miscavige brutally attacking people, hitting them, punching them, splitting their heads open, ripping their ties off from around their necks, throwing people out by their shirts, choking people. All of this documented on film. That whole long list of people that I just named were all at Gold Base, all saw these things. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the hole. What is the hole? Let's talk about it. A hole is 2 double-wide trailers put together. All entrances and exits are barred, with the exception of one door at the front where there is a 24-hour security guard. All windows are screwed so that they can only be opened about an inch. About that much. There are about 100 people that are in that space 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They sleep on the floor. They are fed whatever is left over from the dining room, and they are only allowed to shower once a day if Miscavige is off the base so that he does not run the risk of seeing anyone from the hole. If he doesn't leave the base, they don't get a shower. Render advised that he felt like he was the target of a lot of Miscavige's rage. And he spent a lot of time in the hole. So he knows how it is in the hole and what goes on in there. So, what has the FBI done or not done? So, the FBI has been given a lot of information. Everybody that was on the show, on this episode, has gone to the FBI and given testimony. The FBI advised that a lot of the statutes have run out for a lot of these people. There is a current witness that has left recently who is advising that these things are still going on. There are still people in the hole. There are still physical violence going on. There's still all of these things going on. And yet there's still nothing being done. Mark Headley advised that the FBI told them that they needed overwhelming evidence. Well, I don't think you can get more overwhelming evidence than what you already have. You have people that have physically seen what's going on. People that have physically endured what's going on. What more do you want? So, the FBI did do an investigation, and we have a summary right here. Summary of FBI's criminal investigation into Scientology with former Sea Org members. Dated 10/5 of 09. So, 9 years ago. Not even 10 years ago yet. Sea Org members are housed and held at secure locations where they work 15-hour days. Sea Org members are given no days off and are permitted only limited and monitored contact with anyone outside of the camps where they live and work. All incoming and outgoing mail is opened and read. All Sea Org members' passports are held in the security office. All Sea Org members are instructed how to lie to outsiders and authorities. Despite the information the FBI gathered, the Department of Justice declined to file any criminal charges. Why? You have clear violations of labor laws. You have clear violations of a lot of their civil liberties. You have clear violations. I mean, you have freaking mail violations right there. I mean, I could get in trouble for doing this stuff. Why can't they? So, let's wrap this up. We are going to close this up. The Headley sued Scientology for labor law violations. Their case was dismissed in 2010 on the grounds that they had many opportunities to leave the Sea Org, but just chose not to, as well as the ministerial exception to labor laws. Laughable at best. The appeals court affirmed the decision in 2012. Way to go, our justice system. But noted they did not bring claims for assault, battery, or intentional infliction of emotional distress that might have been better fit the evidence. Because they took it to the FBI, and the FBI pretty much gave them the middle finger. So, they alluded to a new escapee, and that's Valerie Haney, which we met a few episodes back. So Valerie worked directly with Shelley and David Miscavige. So in 2016, she escaped from Gold Basin. In 2017, she reported her experience to the authorities. So here's a legal letter in reference to Valerie Haney. Wrote 9/20 of 18. She confirmed over and over again that she had not suffered any mistreatment and that she did not observe mistreatment or abuse of others. She volunteered that she would never participate in any Scientology publicity. No one told her to say nice things about the church. No one forced her to sign anything. Well, you know what? When you hide in the freaking trunk of a car to escape a place, you'll pretty much say anything so that you don't have to go back. That's just my thoughts on the situation. So like I said, guys, this episode made me pretty mad. I'm still pretty mad. But I have one more episode to watch and get caught up on. I have some reading. Like I said, I'm probably going to make an independent episode of a lot of the research that they have on the website so that we can discuss a lot of that stuff. I do have my new series up, the Scientology from a Scientologist perspective, where I give myself a migraine trying to decipher what draws everybody in to Scientology to begin with. But like always, if you guys like these episodes, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, ring that bell. I upload 5 days a week, mostly beauty related things, but I do throw these episodes in as an aside to the rest of it. If you want to get pissed off with me, go ahead, ring that bell, and go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have any further information or things you want me to talk about on these episodes. Leave it down below or on any of my social media that will be down in the comments below. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.